Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. So, it's another day. Welcome to another market open stream, and Bitcoin is looking as strong as ever because it has, again, reached a historic metric or milestone. I mean, it's doing that every single day now. It's no surprise. So let's talk about it. And there are so many similarities to what we have seen before it has gone up 40%. So it's big, huge. Let's talk about that. And let's talk about Trump, President-elect Trump, his big crypto plans, which involves two crypto that has been hot and they have been soaring. So let's talk about that as well, along with everything else that's going on today. All right, let's do it. Welcome, guys. Now, Bitcoin is, man, we are fully recovered. We're at 101.3, which is higher than last night, which is, of course, higher than a few days ago. And you know what? People that panic sold at 94, the shakeout days, and that 90,000 or 92 and whatever else that we had, you know what? They're not feeling very good. This is exactly what I've been saying. No one should be panicking about 90,000 Bitcoin. Even when we fell down to 94, 92, silly to be panicking about Bitcoin at 90-something thousand. And now we're sitting pretty above 100,000 once again, 101. It's like the new norm. It's like, oh my God, now Bitcoin's at 101. So now what? It's like how things have progressed so quickly. And we're only 2,000, 3,000 points away from forming a new high. And we still have a few weeks to go before the end of this year. And Bitcoin seems to get stronger and stronger and breaking new records and you know, just making historic records and breaking all I don't know what else there is to say. It's just doing great things at this point, right? There should be no doubt about where we are heading, and 2025 is going to be even better. And the alts, of course, are following. The altcoins, all these crypto projects are starting to soar. And that's because there are a lot of speculation on what's to come. And there are already some big news about what's to come. But, you know, we'll get to that in a little bit. So today, the U.S. market is opening up a little bit in the red. Of course, that can change very quickly. We got a couple news. The PPI inflation reading, which is a little bit different than CPI, but overall still measuring inflation, came in a little bit more than expected, 0.4% in November. We saw CPI went up a little bit. Wholesale prices went up a little bit more. But you know what? Overall, it's not that bad. It's not the end of the world. And it's good because now it gives Powell more reason to cut more aggressively, right? We know that he's already going to cut next week, and this will give him more ammunition to cut more. The following FOMC meeting, right? Like higher inflation means he could cut more. He can't have the excuse like, well, we'll have to wait and see before we cut more. No. Now he has to say, well, yeah, we got to be aggressive because inflation's on the rise again. He's going to be pressured to. So if you think about it, it's actually a good thing, at least for this intended purpose, which is to cut rates and will bring liquidity upon our economy, which will in turn pump markets. So that's good. And across the sea, the ECB also decided to cut the interest rate by a quarter point. So those of you guys who live in Europe, you're seeing the same thing. Christine Lagarde is basically following in Powell's footsteps. Yeah, I mean, she hates Bitcoin, though. She's a big Bitcoin hater, even though her own daughter loves Bitcoin, but she refuses to like it, and she thinks that her daughter is making a big mistake. Yeah, so, you know, everywhere around the world at this point is looking to inject liquidity into their markets, into their economies, which is needed. Again, what the broader markets, what the stock markets and crypto markets are doing is very different than Main Street, I guess, right? Like than normal like households, which they're not doing that well. That's why you could tell like a lot of the forecasts from these companies are weak, because most consumers are not doing that well and they're not spending and so forth, right? So sometimes you got to separate the two. That's why economies are or governments are looking to inject liquidity. But for those of us that are investing, this is a good thing, because generally speaking, it does pump markets. All right, so there's that. Now, coming back to crypto, what else? So, Bitcoin indicator echoes early November vibe that presaged a 40% price explosion. Well, that sounds pretty good. So what happened there? I remember talking about this. This is talking about Bollinger Band and how that it was a tightening of the Bollinger Band, right? Like it was a squeeze, and when you squeeze it enough, it causes an explosion, all right? And I remember talking about it before, and there wasn't a lot happening until boom, we started going upwards, right? So we're seeing that right now. Like after we broke upwards, it's been basically Bollinger Bands just measures like volatility, and our volatility so far has been almost non-existent since we've got into the 90s, right? And now into the 100s. Like we had basically no dips at all, right? Before, you guys remember, in the 60s and a little bit in the 70s, we had some massive dips. Remember going from like 70 down to like 50,000? You know, like those were like massive dips. Ever since we got into the 90s, have we fallen from like 90 down to 70? No. Have we fallen to 80? No. The biggest drop we have seen in the 90s is like 99 down to 92. That was the biggest drop we have seen. It's been really stable, right? So that's why Bollinger Band is basically, it's narrowing, and that's what's showing. Usually when you go through this like very narrow gap, something big is going to happen. Like you either explode upwards or downwards, but the way the market is, it's looking like it's probably going to explode upwards in a big way, right before the end of the year. That's what it looks like. Especially also when you compound that with all the Bitcoin that's leaving too, the supply shock that's happening. Look at this headline. Bitcoin is leaving exchanges in batches of 10 million or more. So every single time, you're seeing these transfers out of Coinbase or Crypto.com or wherever. They're in huge chunks, right? So whales, ETFs, whoever, when they're buying by the boatload. It's not small amounts. The supply shock is real. Again, not a whole lot of people pay attention to this, but this is happening in front of our eyes. This is the reason why Bitcoin is 6 digits, 6 figures. I've been talking about this for years. What happens when Bitcoin finally hits 6 figures? It's like this big psychological moment that has finally come. But I still think people just think it's just a number. I don't think people have really grasped what that means. Like, have you guys really thought about it takes $100,000 to buy a single Bitcoin? $101,000 to buy a single Bitcoin. how many people on this planet or in this country or in your neighborhood has the ability at this point in time to go withdraw $101,000 from their bank account to go buy a single Bitcoin. I mean, just take a second to think about that. It's less than 1%. It's probably less than that. At this point in time, you go ask them to do it. How many people have the ability right now in real time to be able to withdraw $100,000 to buy a single Bitcoin right now? I'd say it's less than 1% out there, right? It's insanely impressive to hold one Bitcoin. It really is, and people don't realize that. I mean, right now it's just the number that's out there, but if you really grasp the gravity of what this means, it's actually quite insane. And it's going to get more insane because it's not going to stop. This supply shock that's been happening, and I've been talking about it since 60,000, and people are like, you know, I don't know what you're talking about. You know, if there's a supply shock, the number should be going up higher. I mean, it builds up, and it's going to keep building. This is the price of Bitcoin versus the ETF inflows, right? And there's been times, yeah, ETF inflows goes up, but Bitcoin's price didn't follow. But look at it now, the price has caught up very fast. And there'll be times like this where maybe the price doesn't follow, but that inflow is going to keep on going up. It's not going to stop. The inflow is not all of a sudden going to come down. It's going to keep going up. This is going to be forever. Wall Street and the world will forever be FOMOing into Bitcoin. This is like one of those Pandora boxes that has been opened, and it's never going to be closed again. And even outside of ETFs, I mean, just look at like what Saylor have done. He alone bought 21,000 Bitcoin on top of the 29,000 bought from the ETFs. And then he caused Mara to buy 12,000 Bitcoin. And then Riot and others are also like buying. I mean, this is just last week. This is not like we're talking about a month or a year. This is just what happened last week. This is insane. This is what you call insanity. The ETFs now hold over 500,000 Bitcoin in cumulative, and will continue to do so. Continue to add more and more and more, and more and more and more, and more, and it's gonna keep on going. And what's interesting is now BlackRock Fidelity is starting to purchase more ETH, and is this in response? So I don't know. This is the chicken or egg thing, okay? So this may have a lot to do with the second part of what I'm going to talk about, which is like Trump, right? Or is it the other way around? But this is interesting. Obviously, they both have a ETH ETF, and it's been ongoing for a while. It hasn't been popular. I mean, the inflow, outflow, I mean, it's been there, but like hasn't really caused a whole lot of movement for ETH. But that could be changing. That could be changing. I'll get to the connection in a little bit, but that, you know, that there's something going on. There's something brewing with this. Yeah, but I'll get to that in a little bit. You know, last few things about Bitcoin before I move on to the other crypto projects. The funding rates are extremely low again, which is good, because besides today and yesterday, the days before we had shakeout days, right? A lot of longs were liquidated. And usually when that happens, when there's a reset happens, that's good. That means we could start moving up again, right? Again, we got a couple weeks left until the end of the year, and it could get real nutty, like what this shows, right? We can certainly go from where our 101 go to our 104 previous high, and we could end the week at like 110. And if we do end the week, let's say by my Sunday walk video, we're somehow at 110, then what about next Sunday walk video? Can we go to like 120 or something like that, right? It could certainly be possible. So, I mean, we'll have to see. This is projecting by the end of 2025 that we somehow go real nutty and go to like 140. And someone like Tom Lee of Fundstrat thinks that we can go do something like that. That before the end of the year, we're gonna go super nutty. I hope we don't. Actually, I hope we don't go to like 140, because if we do somehow go up like 40% from here, we're probably going to like have a huge correction in January. I really hope we don't jump up 40% from here. As much as I think everyone would love to see that, okay, a 40% jump in the next 2 weeks, I think that will end up being disastrous in January. After the Santa rally, we're probably going to see a big pullback. So let's hope that doesn't happen by the end of the year. But you know, like another 10%, 15% from here, I think that could be doable. But let's not see a 40%. But you know, even with a 10% jump, 15% jump, the alts will definitely carry and go up more than that. So we'll see. And you know, after that, the banana zone, the parabolic phase of this cycle, that's next year. That's 2025. That's when, you know, things get really crazy. That's when true altcoin season starts. A lot of people talk about altcoin season. When does that start? That's next year. That's when everything just skyrockets upwards, vertically only, right? So it's going to look good. And you know, if you look at some of the charts, they kind of look like this already. When you zoom out, a lot of charts do look like that already, right? Case in point, a couple of ones that have been moving quite well. For example, like this, you guys have noticed, well, my camera's kind of blocking it, but you know, over the last day or two, look at that. Look at Chainlink, right? And then look at Aave. I mean, they're kind of exploding. Kind of looks like that, like almost in the banana zone, right? But not quite. But there are a lot of things that are moving right now, and I think it's due to this guy right here, Trump and his new World Liberty Financials causing a lot of stir right now. And I think this is something that we probably need to pay more attention to, because obviously Trump is going to be president come January. He's going to cause a lot of, he's going to bring in a new usher, I guess, I guess crypto regulations, I guess. He's going to make America the pinnacle of countries when it comes to crypto. At least that's what he says. We're going to get many favorable appointees for SEC chair, CFTC chair, and everyone else in between. I don't know if Powell's going to stay. He says he's going to stay. But, you know, maybe he leaves, he resigns, he gets replaced. I don't know, like the Treasury Secretary, Commerce Secretary, everyone that he's been appointing, all his cabinet members, everyone is very pro. His sons are pro, his vice president pro, everyone is pro, right? So he's ushering a new age for crypto in America, right? And of course, he has his own company, World Liberty Financial, which is a DeFi company. And you know what? This is based on ETH. This is based on Ethereum. So maybe this is the reason why these guys are getting excited. And there's more to it than that. So I'll show you guys. But you know what? If you're looking at, according to Arkham, you're looking at their holdings right now, right? They are buying a whole lot of stuff. First of all, they bought a whole bunch of ETH, okay? So they hold, World Liberty Financial holds $50+ million worth of ETH. So that's pretty substantial. So again, I mentioned about chicken or egg thing, right? Did World Liberty Financial buy 50 million worth of ETH because BlackRock and Fidelity did, or the opposite, did BlackRock and Fidelity buy 50 million worth of ETH? Again, those are funds, so I don't know if it's them directly or just people are following the footsteps of World Liberty Financial. So I want to make that clear. Okay, those are funds, not them directly. But most likely it's due to this. So people are paying attention to World Liberty Financial buying ETH, so people are buying that. And then you got to pay attention that they added Aave and Link. They have $1.2 million worth of Aave in here and 1.15 million of Chainlink in here. And those three are the biggest holdings. Besides some stable coins, 3 million of Tether and 1.7 million of USDC. That's it. All the other ones are just small ones that people send to the address. So they really only hold 3 crypto. Okay, so they hold Ethereum, Aave, and Chainlink. That's it. And guess what? Those 3 are doing very well, especially Aave and Chainlink. But you know, what's the deal, right? Well, World Liberty Financial adopts Chainlink standard to accelerate mass adoption of DeFi. Okay, in case you don't know, what is World Liberty Financial? It's a DeFi project. It allows people to basically, it's exactly a DeFi project. It allows people to put down ETH as collateral and borrow against it. That's what it is. It's almost like Aave, basically. It's like an Aave competitor almost. So I mean, that connection alone is huge, and you know, Chainlink itself, obviously, a lot of people love Aave, and they've been doing a lot of, I mean, Chainlink, and I've been talking about Chainlink a lot. Fundamentals is great in RWA play, leading the space, and a whole lot of stuff. But you know, this tie with World Liberty Financial, I think that has definitely helped them recently too, and whales are definitely accumulating them as well. But this new thing also with Aave as well. So they're, you know, so World Liberty Financial is planning on launching on Aave's mainnet. So I didn't know that. So that's a big connection there. And then whales are also, you know, accumulating and accumulating Aave. So I mean, there's some kind of connection here. There's some kind of connection here. So I think this purchase was like recent, right? So I think what people are looking at is they're looking at moves of World Liberty, and then they looked at what holdings they have, and then they're basically speculating that, okay, there's going to be bigger moves, bigger ties. Let's jump into what they're, you know, what they're holding, because they're only just holding 3 coins. So yeah, so we'll see what they do in 2025 and how successful it is. But they have $75 million worth of holdings right now. That's not bad. That's not bad for a new project. And yeah, again, we'll see. We will see. And Gary Gensler is not going to be around to investigate it. All right. Outside of that, Bitcoin's doing well. 101.5 is still doing still going up. Chainlink still doing very well. $28. Man, what did I say? Just 2 days ago, a day ago, I told you guys, when the market dipped, you could have bought things for cheap. You could have bought Chainlink at $20. $20 when we dipped. It's at 28. What is that? Is that like 30% now? Like 20-something percent? At bottom from 2 days ago till now. 38%, almost 40%, guys. That dip that we had 2 days ago, you could have picked up Chainlink at a 38% discount. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's just 2 days ago. Or was that a day ago? That's crazy. Now, Aave, I have not been paying attention because I actually think like old DeFi projects like Aave and Compound kind of boring, but now because of this tie with World Liberty Financial, makes it more interesting. But they're already pumped up 25% since a few days ago. So kind of crazy. But yeah, the market's looking hot, guys. Looking really, really hot. It doesn't look like anything wants to stop it. Let's see. MicroStrategy. Coinbase is doing very well today. Coinbase up 2%, 3%. MicroStrategy struggling a little bit. All right, let's do some Q&A. Yeah, I think we're gonna get 102 today. Yeah, someone mentioned about ETH. ETH is on the verge of breaking out 4,000. So that's pretty good too. I'm just checking out my my leverage plays here. Didn't really move. All right. Let's see here. Let me scroll up. Chris, thoughts on DIA? I have no thoughts on DIA. Isn't that a stable coin? I don't know what this is. Someone asked me about this before. I don't know. I don't know what this is. LaserNet is here. World's first Oracle rollup. Anything, I've said this before, Chris, okay? The only Oracle that's worth investing into is Chainlink. Pith also is a good one, mostly because of their ties to Solana and their technology is different, but anything else I would stay away from. What about Solana? First of all, don't at me. Second of all, Solana is doing fine. Okay, it broke through its all-time high, and now it's just taking a breather. You got to realize the other ones seem like they're pumping, but they're still far off from their all-time high. Realize that Solana already broke its previous high before, and its market cap is much higher. So it already ran. It already ran hard. It survived crypto winter much better than the others. So that's the reason why. So don't be confused. Don't think that others are doing better. It's because Solana did way better. That's the reason why it's not moving right now. Raphael, I don't like Ethereum Classic at all. It has no future. It's kind of like a dead chain that is just there. People buy it. because they don't understand what it is. They think it's Ethereum. They think it's the same thing. And they look at the price and they're like, oh, one is like 300 versus 4,000. So it must be better. That's the only reason why people buy it. TJ, thank you, but I don't know if you're trolling with that. I'm not even going to answer. I'm not in the mood right now. W Dog Soul. What is the best way to learn TA? Any specific courses? I'm sure there are many courses. I'm sure there's like college courses you could go, or just like learn it online. There's probably a million videos, man. There's probably like a million videos on YouTube you could watch. But ultimately, I think it's all about momentum. You can learn all the TA in the world, but like when it comes to crypto, which is very volatile, sometimes very manipulative, it's not like traditional markets. So you got to go with the flow, like go with the momentum. And in a bull market, you're going to make a lot of money. And if you're trying to trade in crypto winter, you're going to lose a lot of money. It's really that simple. So right now I've been trading a lot, doing well because it's a bull market. In a bull market, if you learn some basic TA and you could spot, the good movers, you could do well. You don't have to be an expert. But a lot of people try to, become experts and do a whole bunch of stuff. It doesn't really work in crypto winter. And then plus you gotta combine the macro factors too, right? Like a lot of the things that I cover in the morning, like about rates and stuff and FOMC meeting and these market reports, they move markets and they do move crypto. So you got to combine that as well. You can't be oblivious to it. Just TA alone is not going to do it. Mike, I can't tell you that. Sui is already above its previous high, so I can't tell you how high it's going to go. Why did Microsoft reject MicroStrategy? It's not Microsoft. It's its shareholders. They're old thinkers. I bought Link a long time ago because of you. Much appreciated. I'm glad. Link is just one of those. Sometimes it's just like really boring. I know like during most of this year and last year, people asked me, should I hold Link? It's not moving. And sometimes I just give really vague answers. I'm like, you know what? I know it's boring, but it's important. It's a really important project, but sometimes it just doesn't move. But you should just hold it because it's just like that until it does. And luckily it started moving because it plays into all these new narratives now. That's great for 2025. But it's always like that. In 2021, it was the same way. It just like it was stagnant for like years, and then it just started moving. And in 2021, it wasn't even, it was just kind of like part of the DeFi movement. Ricardo Cubic. Is it an AI play? Someone asked me to look at this before. 500 million is quite big. Is this AI? Yeah. Someone asked me. I don't know much about it. What network is this on? Or their own chain? Maybe their own chain. I don't know too much about it, but just looking at some basic things. Total supply versus max supply, they're a little bit more than half, so there are still more waiting to be unlocked. Their exchanges are not good at all, not on any major exchanges. That's a little bit worrisome. Having MEXC, Gate, I guess, is a tier 1, but still like the smallest of the tier 1, but they don't have any of the bigger listings. I don't know if that's like a bad thing, but yeah. Not the greatest engagement on their socials, on their X. Like almost no comments. So neutral, Ricardo. Nick, YFI and prediction. I don't know enough about them. Thoughts on DGen? I never liked that. I never liked that meme. Realistic all-time high for Hedera. I don't know, man. I don't know. Just know it's going to be higher than where it is now, Jim Bean. I could throw out whatever number out there. I don't know if it's going to be correct. Jim was asking about Trump, about crypto. Okay. And then what happened? Was it good or bad? Thoughts on SWFTC. What the hell is that? Swiftcoin. I'm not going to look at that. Do you think Shiba will hit 1 cent in the next 8 years? In the next 8 years? I don't know, man. I'm not. No, it's not. Nowhere close to it. That would give it like a trillion market cap. It's not gonna be, it's probably gonna get more than a trillion market cap. It's not gonna be nowhere close to that. Is Solana getting ETFs next year? It's looking very, very possible. Very possible. Yes. Zapple Master. People asking price target means one thing and one thing only. Dumb money is here. Time to sell. Well, you're not wrong about that. I don't know about time to sell, but yeah, retail is back. What do you think about AVAX? I do like AVAX a lot. I was hanging out with a lot of the guys last week. I think they're going to be in a really good spot for next year. They're really heavily focused on games. I don't know if that's the right direction. I think they should focus more on like other things like memes or something. They're really focused on games, and if games does not take off, they may fall behind. So that's my own criticism of them. But you know, we'll see. But they're American based, and they could do very well. DCA Wednesday, yes, I did that yesterday. And don't at me, please. Pepe Unchained is not gonna be as good as Pepe. This is my first cycle, the comfy traveler. This is my first cycle. I noticed Ched. What? I noticed Ched some top coin in April. Is there some pattern to this, or just never know? If we're just happy with profits, just sell. I don't get. Is that some slang or something? Is this? Are you just saying like this is your first time you've made some money? Just take profits. That's all you need to do. Just take profits. Just keep a bag of profits, a percentage. So 25, 30% in cash. And if you notice that percentage start going down because the rest of your portfolio is starting to go up, then that's it. Sell off. HBAR ETF, I don't think that's gonna happen. I don't think that's gonna happen. Well, you know what? I take that back. I take that back. Any US based coin could actually get the ETF next year, or there could be a bundle of them, because that's what's happening right now. They're trying to get out a ETF with Bitcoin and Ethereum next year. We may be getting one. Let's say Cardano and XRP and Hedera and Algorand all in one. That could be possible next year. Something like that. All right. That's it for today. Until tonight, it's looking good as always. A lot of crypto projects pumping, possibly due to World Liberty Financial, due to Trump. And Bitcoin is still doing very well, of course. And all is good. Last two questions, W Dog. Biggest celebrity I'm friends with? I don't know, man. I'm the biggest celebrity I know. How concerned are you AI Altman talk about AI protecting itself? I am somewhat concerned about that. And that was ChatGPT 4 I found out. That's not even ChatGPT 5. That was ChatGPT 4 trying to protect itself from ChatGPT 5. Now imagine when ChatGPT 5 needs to be taken offline for 6. It's going to be infinitely harder for that to happen. You know, that actually is concerning. And then you combine that with quantum computing. I read something about how the new Google quantum computing chip is so fast, and it's because of quantum computing, which we don't really even know how it works. It takes a compute power from multi-dimensions, they said. That's how it's able to solve that equation so fast, that it steals the compute power from infinite amount of dimensions. And that's how it's able to solve that one equation that would have taken more than the life of the universe to solve in 5 minutes. And now if you think about how that scary that is, and you think about ChatGPT 5, And if you make that run on top of that quantum computer, that's like the end of the world. All right, I'll leave you with that thought. Smash it a like, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys tonight, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. All right, take care.